Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be joined by my beautiful friend Sophia, who's obviously going to join me over Skype. Our topic today is torn between cultures. I hope you enjoyed this episode and keep on watching. Sophia has finally joined us. Welcome back, Sophia!
This is Sophia, all the way from London.
Hey, by the way, I think I might need to look at the camera every now and then.
That's fine, that's fine.
So I'll speak to you like this. How are you?
I'll just pretend that I'm talking to myself. It's fine, it's fine.
I've already introduced to my viewers that I will be talking about the issue of being torn between two cultures. Introduce yourself to my viewers.
So basically, let me just give a brief introduction about me. Originally, I'm from East Africa. My parents are from a small country on like the Horn of Africa called Djibouti.
Yeah.
So they came here, and I grew up here, and so I've got African roots, but at the same time I'm a British citizen, and I've just been here for most of my life.
Yeah.
Growing up, to be honest with you, it didn't seem as if I was going through a culture clash or an identity crisis at all.
Yeah.
Because West London is a very, multicultural area. And the high school that I went to, the schools that I went to in West London, they're very densely populated with like ethnic minority groups.
Yeah.
So you don't feel it at all. And I remember actually once when I was in high school,
Yeah.
the teacher asked us once, they said, what do you think is the percentage of white people versus ethnic minorities in this country? And we were so deluded because obviously we always see like 90% black people, Asian people, people from Latin America.
Yeah.
So I remember I just said, 70%. And someone else said, it's 80. And I remember another girl was like, come on guys, it's like 95%. Look at the people in this class. Because there's only like one
white person.
guy. So then our teacher was just looking at us in disbelief, and he was like, sorry to break it to you guys, but no. This country is like 97% white, and everyone was in shock.
Yeah.
I still didn't believe him then, but fast forward like
15-20 years later,
when I actually started working.
15-20 years later, you were in high school.
Alright, back to them.
She's young. She's acting like she's like 40. She's only 20, what, 24, 25?
25.
Oh no!
So when I first started working, I was working in Liverpool Street / Bank, which is basically like, what's it called in New York?
Wall Street?
Yeah, it's like the Wall Street of London, basically. So I was working in like the financial capital of London.
Yeah.
And so I got on the train from my local train station.
Yeah.
And literally after each stop, I could just sense like there was less and less colour.
Yeah.
Less and less melanin on the train. Until I got to my stop and I was just surrounded by white men. And at first it wasn't an issue, but every single day I'd just see like people staring at me, and it just felt really, really uncomfortable. And at that point it hit me, I'm actually not from this country.
I know,
I might
that's
have
so
the passport,
sad.
I might be British,
Yeah.
I might speak the language, but I'm not actually from here. And that's when it hit me hard. So now basically my aim is to go back and actually get in touch with my roots.
Oh really?
And do some travelling in Africa. But the sad point is, even though we've grown up here and we are technically from here because we know nothing more,
Yeah.
what is being British? What does being British mean when you still don't feel like you're from here, even though everyone else here is British? So, I mean, what would you say to that, Isra? Because you're...
Well, I've got a completely different
traveled a lot
story
as well.
to you. I was born in Iraq, then we moved around so many times, and we finally, settled in Germany because of, as asylum seekers, it was the only place, refugees actually, it was the only place that took us properly. Took us on. We went to Germany, and we were told that we are less than everyone else. And we were always alienated in class. My teacher would, there were times when she would openly embarrass us in front of everyone.
What would she say?
Once, for example, my sister and I, we were both wearing the scarf. So we went up to the front of the class, and she said to us, could you read out your poem? Because everyone had to make up a poem at home and then read it out in class. And my sister and I, back then, we felt like we're German. So we were really good at writing and creative writing. I read out the poem, and the lady was like, we finished it, the kids clapped. It was an amazing poem. And after they clapped, she just looked at us, like she looked us up and down, and she was like, I don't believe you wrote this. And I'm like,
oh my god, oh wow.
I swear. And we were like, what the hell? And can you imagine 2 kids, like we were like, what, 13, 12? And both of us looking at her were like, we swear we wrote this. Anyway, so we moved, so we always thought we were less than everyone. We always like have this self-esteem issue. I remember when I came to London, they took us to this, you know Brent, they had Brent Council. When you first come in, because it was like full, GCSE years were full. So they brought us in and they said to us, you'll have an intensive English course. And firstly, they test you and what you know so far. Obviously, we didn't know anything. Like it was just like basic French, what people know in like year 7. That's how much we knew English. The guy that tested me, he was like, he looked at my parents and he was like, listen, your daughter is a genius. She can go wherever she wants. I was like, I almost cried because I was like, oh my god, this person believes in me. He's known me for an hour. That's basically it. And then that's when like the confidence started, because in England I never felt like, in London specifically, didn't really feel different. And like you, because we both went to the same uni, like I didn't feel like out of place or
out of place.
Yeah, I didn't feel this way.
But then I think the main reason for that is because of the fact that it's so ethnically diverse.
Especially where we were.
Everyone feels different.
Yeah.
It makes everyone feel the same at the same time.
As much as we're different, they're kind of really accepting. And I know with you went to the Wall Street of England. That was it's a bit extreme, because I remember living in Canary Wharf for like a bit, and that was different. That was like I felt like I wasn't even in London.
What kind of experience did you have?
I mean, it wasn't bad. I didn't have any racist comments or anything. I always think people are nice in England. I don't know, because obviously I compare them back to like German. I just felt like I was the only hijabi.
The thing is, with me, Central London is kind of dominated by white men.
Exactly.
I had 3 factors that were against me. First of all, I was a woman, I'm black, and I'm Muslim. And it's very clear that I'm Muslim because I'm wearing hijab, so everyone can already know. They already see, what I am and what kind of background I'm from. It's really strange living in London, and you'd expect people to be informed of certain things.
Yeah.
But it's strange to be working and then people asking you certain questions such as, where are you from? You're some sort of foreign entity, not even a human being. That's the thing that kind of really just blew me away, because I just never experienced anything like it before.
So how do you answer the question of where are you from? I mean, obviously, like you said, from the beginning you felt really British. Where are you from?
See, that's the thing. I start the conversation by referring to my African roots. So I always tend to say I'm from East Africa. I'm from a small country called Djibouti.
Exactly. I mean, to be honest, you talk about it from the like London point of view, but British is not London.
Yeah, exactly. No, basically what you're trying to say is that my opinion is quite skewed because I'm just basically referring to my experiences from London, whereas you yourself have actually lived in places such as Norwich.
After living in London for like God knows how many years, I had to move to Norwich for other reasons. So when I moved to Norwich, that was a completely different experience. I never felt alienated in London, because I didn't really start working properly, like not yet. Even though I did feel like a bit weird, like out of place when I was working in Richmond, the Chinese takeaway. Even though I wasn't like basically surrounded by people from China and like Pakistanis as well. But the people, our customers were all white. They were astonished that I went to uni. It's so insulting, you know. They were surprised that I can speak English. Like the racists in campus, I had racist. Weren't actually malicious. It's just ignorant. Like I don't think it's malicious. But anyway, so when they're like, "Oh, could I have this, please?" and then like say in such a undermining tone, and then they say, "Well, this is what I do," and like they're trying to brag. And I'm like, yeah, I'm doing my master's in cancer biology, and they're like, you know what? I've got a family member who's got cancer. Could you like help me out? And I'm like, 2 seconds ago you didn't even trust me, and now you want me to treat your family members.
I think that does prove that she wasn't coming from a malicious standpoint. No. It was more to do with ignorance. But then again, why does it mean that your hijab kind of equates to ignorance, lack of education, and lack of understanding?
Well, It's the media. The way they portray us is very negative. Press, desert people who can't communicate. All they do is bend flags and jump around in circles. What do you think are the perks of being a bicultural? Actually, you probably are tricultural, aren't you?
Well, we'll just say bicultural.
Bicultural.
Okay. So probably the fact that we're introduced to different cultures. So I feel that as a person, you become more aware. Number two, you're exposed to different languages.
Yes.
So my parents, for example, they speak Somali, they speak Arabic, they also speak French.
Yes.
So being able to speak in a language that's highly regarded in the business standpoint is just an added bonus.
Yeah.
And you can communicate to more people.
It's like you can relate to a lot of people.
Yeah, you're more relatable. Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And just being all-rounded, you know, when you're just a cultured person, you're able to basically communicate better.
Yeah, like they say that bicultural or multicultural people should actually be winning at life generally, because you know you're meant to be able to relate to everyone. You're meant to understand people. You can speak so many languages, but at the same time, you actually aren't. You aren't winning, because there's a time in my life when you're like, who am I? Where do I belong to?
Yeah, you definitely start to have some sort of like identity crisis. You, especially for you, since you've actually moved around a lot.
Yeah.
Whereas with me, it was more to do with. Originally, I'm from Africa.
Yeah.
But my parents brought me here when I was very young, when I was around 6 years old. So all my living memories are from England.
Yeah.
So, you know, if I'm not from here, if I go back to Africa, I still don't feel like I'm attached because I don't have that. I can't relate to the people who live there. So then, where am I from? I don't know anyone there. That's for starters.
Definitely.
I'm not so great at the language either. So that breaks down communication and just the culture in general.
When I go back to Iraq and when you go back to Djibouti, do you go back to Djibouti?
I've actually never been. I was born there.
Yeah.
And when my parents brought me here, I've never been back at all.
To be honest, sometimes I feel like that's a good thing.
But why?
Yeah, the reason why. Love that. Why? So why? So basically, when I first was introduced to Iraq in 2008, I was in love with Iraq, the weather, the people, my family, everything was just perfect. I kept on going and going to Iraq every single year, every holiday, like you don't have any other holiday, just Iraq. And then, I don't know, like, you know, this is why I started thinking, am I like Iraqi now? Am I Western? I don't know who I am. Am I meant to go back to Iraq? And because I feel comfortable there. In Iraq, they can't tell you where are you from. Like, you're Iraqi, it's your homeland. And I've had that problem in Germany when I felt like I didn't belong there. So every time a person would ask me, so why don't you go back to your country? Like, well, at that time I never had been. So to me, then that answered the question, why don't you go back to country? Like, you know what? I am going back to my country. I will go back to my country. So I tried. I really did. After my masters, I was thinking, that's it. I'm doing my masters, going back to Iraq and teach in Iraq.
Everything like changed.
The whole ISIS thing happened, and I'm like, do I want to go back? The thing is, you feel comfortable for those couple of months, but when I'm there, like even there, they consider me or the foreigner.
Really, you don't really belong in either.
Exactly.
Which it has its benefits, but it definitely has its negatives as well.
Definitely. So do you think your ethnicity, cultural, religious background affects you getting a job?
Yes, and I can say that with certainty as well. Because I remember at one point, well, definitely religion, because I remember at one point I actually went for an interview. Obviously I'm wearing the hijab, and the lady said to me, you know what, you're a very nice girl, and I feel as though I can be really open with you. And I said, yeah, by all means, you have something that I can change, then let me know. And she said, well, I think your attire is going to be an issue.
Wow.
Especially working here, you're going to be client facing. Perhaps wearing that, you know, scarf might prevent people from, you know, doing deals. Because then I kind of understood why I was receiving such positive feedback from interviews, but just not getting the job. So I said to her, do you know what, thank you for your transparency, but that's one thing that I'm not willing to change. And, you know, I thought that the job requirements were based more on experience and your academic attainment rather than what you're wearing. And this has definitely opened my eyes. Going home that day, and I just thought to myself, wow, I've got a degree, I've got a master's, and I had the experience that was needed. But the main reason why I didn't get that job was because I was wearing the headscarf, and I never knew that that was something that was going to prevent me from actually getting a job. And I remember I was really depressed for quite some time, but then again, I didn't want that to take my whole image of like the British job system. Other companies that were obviously willing to take people who have the hijab or whatever,
Yeah.
but the fact that that exists in the 21st century in somewhere such as London, that I think it took it got to me. It got to me a lot, to be honest.
There's this thing in psychology called stereotype threat. In your head, you worry so much that you fit into the stereotypes that they put for you. So basically, let's say they say, oh, the hijabis, oh, they probably can't even read, and you feel like if you do something wrong, they'll come back and be like, well, we knew she never could achieve this. Oh, we know she can't do this because look at her, she's a hijabi. And that feeling I've had a million times over. And apparently, you can change this. You can change the stereotype threat to a stereotype tax or something like that. And using that energy, that push that they give you to prove them wrong.
Yeah. It was something called the self-fulfilling prophecy. When a teacher labels a student as a good student or a bad student, the way that they treat them is different, and because of the behaviour towards that student, they end up being what the teacher had already predicted that they were going to be.
To be honest, alhamdulillah, over the past 2 years, I've firstly realised that I can say I belong to where I always used to say that I belong, because when someone says to me, where is home? Where is home to you? To me, home is where my parents are for now. Yeah. So, alhamdulillah, finally realised this. So now I don't feel that, I don't know where I belong. I'm so stable at that. I'm so relaxed and calm down about the whole issue. Don't need to find it. I don't need to identify where I'm from. I'm just at the same time, where is home? Home to me is where my parents are, so I can say that now. Thank you so much, Sophia, for joining me. It was lovely talking to you.
Thank you so much. I know I will definitely be invited for more videos. So guys,
yeah, sure.
you will be hearing from me a lot more in the near future.
Yeah. We are more than happy to hear more of you. And thank you all for watching.
Click that like button, guys.
We'll see you on my next video. Bye.
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 I'm gonna cringe. I hate listening to myself.
I love listening to you.
You are a brave woman for doing this. Not only are you exposing that manly voice of yours, you're actually showing your face as well.